So apparently the Fever just leaked their starting five. According to this graphic, right,
in order for the Fever to achieve the goals that they have in front of them, everyone is going to need to buy into their role, and it's up to Stephanie White to put the best lineups out there, the best lineup combinations, and all of that. I took a stab at projecting what the starting five will be, and it's, not a huge leap, but obviously Caitlin Clark's going to be the point.
Yeah. This is apparently what it's going to be. Caitlin Clark at the 1, Kelsey Mitchell at the 2, DeWanna Bonner at the 3, Natasha Howard at the 4, and Aliyah Boston at the 5.
What if the most daring move of the entire WNBA offseason wasn't a blockbuster trade, a 9-figure contract, or a back-channel tampering coup, but a midnight social media accident, a single digital slip that set the league on fire? At 12:07 a.m., an Indiana Fever graphic briefly went live, then vanished into the ether. For the lucky thousands who caught the screenshot, 5 names glowed in scarlet type: Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, DeWanna Bonner, Natasha Howard, Aliyah Boston. No caption, no watermark, just the words projected starters. Within half an hour, hashtags trended on both coasts. Rival GMs convened emergency Zoom calls, and every basketball podcast from Seattle to Sydney rewrote its preseason power rankings. Indiana hadn't even confirmed the lineup, yet you could feel the league's temperature jump 10 degrees. 2 years removed from an 8-3-2 crawl through the cellar, the Fever had gone from scrappy, rebuild to hunted favorite in the time it takes your phone to refresh. Publicly, the franchise issued a polite shrug. Lineups are fluid in camp, but head coach Stephanie White saw opportunity where others saw chaos. The morning after the leak, she taped a graphic beside the weight room clocks, circled the 5 names in thick red marker, and wrote one sentence beneath: "Live up to this or watch it become a meme." Veterans smirked, rookies snapped pictures, ticket sales spiked so abruptly that the arena's Wi-Fi crashed for an hour. Expectations, White believes, are jet fuel. Declare greatness early, then force the locker room to match the billboard. By lunch, every player had the image as her phone background. By dinner, local sports radio called the Fever the first real challenger to Las Vegas in half a decade. And by sunrise of day 2, a line snaked around Gainbridge Fieldhouse for single-game seats that hadn't even gone on sale yet. At the vortex of the hype hurricane is Caitlin Clark, whose rookie season became a season-long highlight reel. Broken assist records, 30-foot lasers, nightly double teams that clogged TikTok feeds for months. White's first closed-door chat with her star was blunt. "Congrats on the fireworks," she said. "Now double your motor." Clark's 2025 blueprint is relentless relocation. She whips a pass, sprints through a triple-screen maze, reappears on the weak side logo, and launches before defenders can formulate the word switch. Imagine Steph Curry's cardio blended with Sabrina Ionescu's range, then add Clark's skip-pass vision and dare me swagger. Defenses used to trap her at half-court. You can't trap a ghost. Running shotgun is Kelsey Mitchell, now on a supermax that announced Indiana's intent louder than fireworks. Her first step is NASCAR off the line, her pull-up textbook perfection, competitive fire kerosene on dry grass. Pundits predicted she'd flee a directionless franchise. The core tag kept her, $249,000 salary affirmed her value, and the vision of a twin-engine backcourt sealed her commitment. Trap Clark this year and Mitchell will bury you from the corner. Chase Mitchell off screens and Clark detonates from 30. The result is a pick-your-poison nightmare coaches lose sleep over. While fans obsessed over the perimeter fireworks, the frontcourt stocked artillery. DeWanna Bonner, 6-time All-Star, 2-time champion, 6'4" Swiss Army forward, chose Indiana not for Instagram likes but for familiarity. White coached her in Connecticut, knew her mid-post craft, her locker room clout, her unwavering confidence. On the other block stands Natasha Howard, 3 rings deep and hungry for a 4th in the city that drafted her a decade ago. Howard's resume reads like gladiator scroll, weak side blocks that shake backboards, rim runs that turn defensive rebounds into dunks 4 seconds later, a primal scream that electrifies a crowd faster than a kiss cam. Fold a championship DNA into a young core, and trust the process morphs into plan the parade route. Anchoring it all is Aliyah Boston, 2023 Rookie of the Year and living cheat code. Boston doesn't hunt shots. She hunts leverage, slip screens, high-low seals, reverse pivots timed like Swiss watches. Her pick-and-roll dance with Clark, already ranked top 5, sprinkle Howard's dives and Bonner's pop-outs into that geometry and defensive rotations implode. Sag to clog the paint and 5 shooters slice you apart, switch a guard onto Boston and she eats single coverage alive. Quiet off the court, she's the heartbeat on it, steady, precise, unrelenting. White's offense can be distilled to 2 words: controlled mayhem. Make plays, don't run plays, she preaches. A ram screen for Clark goes into a flare for Bonner, instantly reverses into a Howard corner cut while Boston rolls to the rim, all inside 7 seconds. The floor becomes a kaleidoscope of read and react decisions, each cut tugging at a seam. Pre-rotate and Clark rifles a no-look to a shooter. Stay home and Boston feasts. Las Vegas trusts small ball speed. Indy's length punishes that. New York scrambles with heavy rotations. Indiana exploits the vacated space before help even thinks about arriving. Stars, however, don't win titles alone. Enter Sophie Cunningham, whose giddy embrace of a bench role sent shockwaves through league circles. Many veterans with starter resumes bristle at demotion. Cunningham grinned and said, "I didn't come here for the spotlight. I came here to win." She brings 40% shooting from deep, bulldog defense, and enough muscle to tussle with small ball force. Plug her at the wing for tempo, slide her to stretch 4 when Boston rests, or unleash her in microball lineups that turn the hardwood into a shooting gallery. Her selflessness whispers to every role player that sacrifice is the new currency. Lexi Hull is the other Weapon X. A year ago, she leaped from 22% to a league-leading 47% from 3, all while checking scorers 2 inches taller. With more help around her, she can channel that defensive ferocity into shorter, murderous spurts. Think Lou Dort with a laser sight. Hull's gravity drags weak side helpers off Clark's curling drives, and her sneaky steals ignite transition storms Indiana once only dreamed about. Bench orchestration belongs to Sydney Colson, 8-year vet and calm in the whirlwind. Colson's stat lines won't break the internet, but her late clock poise, bar cloud communication, and on-the-fly diagramming are worth pure gold. When Clark finally sits, Colson slows pulses, shifts spacing, and reminds everyone where the next screen happens before the offensive set even calls for it. Protecting the rim behind her is Brianna Turner, 2-time all-defensive stalwart who erases layups like typos and sets bone-rattling picks that free shooters by 3 full strides. One veteran steers air traffic, the other locks the runway. The lone puzzler of the winter was leaving Timmy Fagbennel unprotected for the expansion draft. Message boards exploded with front office blunder hot takes, but insiders insist it's 4-dimensional cap chess. Shielding Damiris Dantas, a stretch 5, preserves floor spacing on a roster already flush with rim runners and keeps luxury tax wiggle room for a deadline swing. Sometimes you sacrifice a pawn to spring a rook later. GM Amber Cox is betting that deal materializes by mid-July. Outside noise tried and failed to puncture the mood. Cheryl Swoop's viral claim that nobody wants to play in Indy aged about as well as warm milk when Bonner, Howard, and Cunningham inked contracts. During a preseason mic-up, Diana Taurasi laughed with Clark about it. Looks like plenty wanted now. External chatter sells merch. Internal unity wins rings. Every huddle ends with a chant, one voice, one speed, one ring, written in permanent marker on the locker room whiteboard. Training camp feels like a Silicon Valley hackathon. Practices oscillate between full-court scrimmages that mimic fourth-quarter fatigue and film sessions where White freezes frames and quizzes players Jeopardy style on rotation angles. Strength coach Catherine Burdick introduced a fourth-quarter circuit so brutal trainers keep electrolyte popsicles courtside. By week 2, the smell of competition hangs in the air, metallic, electric, urgent. Leadership, too, is evolving. Clark remains the gravitational pull for media lights yet decoys the spotlight in-house, rebounding for rookies after practice and soliciting vets' preferred catch zones. Greatness scales when you lift everyone, she tells reporters. Mitchell echoes the humility, spending off days with Hull and Turner dissecting defensive shifts. Bonner mentors rookies in film study. Howard organizes team dinners. Boston quietly logs every offensive rebound drill like it's Game 5. Wildcards lurk at the edges. Rookie Jaylen Brown, a 6'2 slasher, blew up open practice with a reverse cradle that hit 4 million views overnight. Second-round pick Mariah Copeland appears tailor-made for White's chaos. One-handed whip passes, corner threes, 94-foot grit. White warns that no roster spot is safe. Competition sharpens iron. When Brown posterized a help defender during scrimmage, Clark sprinted off the bench screaming, "That's the energy." The gym shook. Analytics departments are equally giddy. Spatial tracking data projects the Clark Mitchell Bonner Howard Boston unit to post a 120 offensive rating, video game territory. The staff balances those numbers with what they call a toughness index: contested boards, floor dives, illegal screen draws, and bend-butt dump break stops. Cunningham leads by miles, a fact she announces, half joking, half daring, before every scrimmage. Defense is White's secret sauce. Matchups start normal. Mitchell on points, Bonner dancing around screens. But the magic hits on the second beat as Indiana morphs into a matchup zone. Wings switch high, low defenders front the post. Boston stalks as the eraser. Howard's go-go arms fill passing lanes while Clark roams like a free safety for reckless skip passes. Opponents thread one needle, only to find another waiting. Behind closed doors, assistant Brienne January runs a chaos clinic, projecting film on a 30-foot wall while players wear light VR headsets that simulate opponent habits at triple speed. By the time goggles come off, athletes can recite corner 3 percentages for every W in the league. January's signature drill, 7-second scramble, demands 3 coverage swaps before a horn. Failure means wins sprints. Game day begins with spectacle. Instead of layup lines, Indiana opens warm UPS with a tiki-taka passing weave. 15 touches, 0 dribbles, constant relocation. The crowd arrives early just to watch the blur. Next come 20-second hit spikes so intense opposing teams pause stretching to stare. By tip-off, fever heart rates sit comfortably at playoff tempo. Off the court, marketing embraces the mania. Billboards splash a thermal image of the starting 5 with a dare. Can you handle the heat? A local brewery launched triple-double IPA, proceeds to girls' youth hoops. The Indianapolis Zoo rescued a peregrine falcon, named it Kate Lynx, and schedules halftime dive bomb shows. The town feeds the team's energy. The team feeds it back and wins. Timing undergirds every gamble. Clark's rookie max is a bargain. Bonner and Howard are on one-year prove-its. Mitchell can walk in 2026, and a looming CBA threatens to detonate salaries. The window is wide open now. Cox refuses to let a trade exception gather dust. Rumors swirl about a discontented 3-and-D wing on a non-contender. The goal is unapologetic. Push all chips in, grab a banner while the board tilts your way. Because pressure, like basketball, runs in waves. It will surge again the first night a contender punches Indiana in the mouth, when threes rim out and Instagram resurrects every preseason boast. White already plans pre-dawn shooting sessions for those dark stretches. The league catches up, she says. So we outrun the clock, outrun scouting, outrun complacency, outrun yesterday. 2 years ago, Gainbridge Fieldhouse echoed with empty seats and cautious optimism. Today, season tickets vanish in hours. Resellers demand playoff prices for preseason games, and the arena video intro ends with 3 glowing letters, BNC, banner number coming. The graphic that once felt like a glitch is now scripture. No one on this roster wants a quiet rise. They crave a coronation. They're not politely asking for relevance. They're storming the league with shooters spaced like shark teeth, veterans who own jewelry, and a once-in-a-generation point guard painting the entire picture in neon trays. If rivals cling to hope that this is mere off-season hype, here's your last warning. The Fever aren't coming. They're already here, already screaming through defensive gaps, already rewriting scouting reports, already making the air inside every opposing arena just a little too hot to breathe. And when Indiana leaves town, they plan to leave confetti swirling in their wake.